Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Let me ask you that first, because I don't know if I ever do that. So, how's everyone doing? I don't know what you said, so ultimately, if you didn't say anything other than good, then I feel horrible for asking that. But you can always reach out to me. I'm a nice guy. I'm here to help you guys. Anyways, welcome back to the Sup Podcast. Same thing. I'm your host, Matthew Supinger. This is episode 6, I believe. How time flies, you know what I'm saying? Episode 6 already? And you're probably thinking, wow, Matt, you seem really energetic today. This must be a really cool guest. All my guests are cool, first of all. So for you to think that today's guest is especially cool, you're kind of right, but all my guests are really cool. So you're probably like, man, you're building it up, Matthew. Is your guest like LeBron James? Or is your guest like, I don't know, Joe Burrow? And unfortunately, we could not get them on for this episode, but our guest is still even cooler. It's me. I'm my guest. And so today, I had put out like a little questionnaire thing on my Instagram, and I was like, hey, guys, ask me questions. And I got a few questions. Some questions from Alex, my last guest. Some questions from both my sisters, Shelby and Micah. And I got a lot of questions from my girlfriend. So I'm really excited to answer those today. And I'd also like to start this off with, got a little bit of beef. And I did bring my own soup, too, so don't think that this is just different because I'm on here. I brought soup that I got from Jungle Gyms. It was called Volcano Chicken Noodle, and it's got a chicken on it, and he's, like, all red, and he's steaming and crying, and he's saying, that's crazy hot, and it says curry on it. Some of the other stuff I can't read, unfortunately, but I did bring it. It doesn't smell great. I'm a little disappointed about that because I was really hoping, I bought this with my hard-earned money, I was hoping it was going to be like, holy moly, this is super good. I mean, I haven't tasted it, but it doesn't smell great, so it kind of worries me. But anyways, enough of the rambling. Gotta say that there's been a little bit of beef. Got my first hater. Probably like, man, first hater? Who is it? It's actually my girlfriend, so Caitlin, if you are listening to this, we do have beef. And I'm going to do this like 2016 YouTube style? I'm going to write a diss track and put it in my next podcast about Caitlin. So everyone prepare for that. Caitlin, I hope you do have a good diss track coming back at me. I feel like she'll probably listen to this episode because I'm answering her questions, and so she wants to hear me answer her questions. But yeah, we do have beef because she is not an avid listener. Can you guys believe that? My own girlfriend doesn't even listen to all my episodes. But hi, Caitlin. I hope you're listening to this one. And I send you hugs from NKU Podcast Studio. All right, but enough of this mumbo jumbo. It's probably what you guys are thinking. It's what I'm thinking too. My first question came from Alex, and he said, "What's it like being the GOAT?" It's a great question. Feels great to be called that, first of all. But I don't know. It's not. I wouldn't know what it's like to be the GOAT. I'll tell you what it is like to be me, because I'm not the GOAT, but I am Matthew Supinger. So take you through a day in the life of Matthew Supinger. Hopefully that'll answer your question. So I wake up, depending on what day it is, I usually don't wake up any later than like 9:30. I might lay in my bed for a while, but I don't wake up any later than 9:30, unless it's like the weekends or something. And scroll through like Instagram. I scroll through TikTok a little bit. Have a couple of laughs because I usually find at least one or two TikToks that make me like laugh pretty hard. Get up finally, and I go get my clothes on, get dressed, put deodorant on. Got to go to the bathroom. Sorry if that's too much information, but giving you guys the rundown. So you asked for it. If anyone's gonna blame anyone here, blame Alex because he indirectly asked for potty room information. So there you go. Go to the bathroom, go downstairs, I eat some breakfast, say hi to my mom and stuff like that. Um, After breakfast, I'll drink some coffee and stuff. Just chill out for a little bit. Like I said, depending on what day it is, I may have to get to class earlier than other days. But on days where I don't have to get to classes early, I will just kind of chill out. I might do some. I usually get some homework done. I've been slammed with homework this semester, so I've been getting homework done. And after that, I'm realizing my day is kind of boring. I go to school, do my classes. I do listen to. I'll give you guys this. This is kind of some good information. I've told Caitlin this a lot before too. When I'm walking around campus, I like to listen to music that makes me feel like I'm, I know like people want to be like, oh, do you listen to music that like makes you feel like you're him? No, I don't feel like I'm him. I just listen to music. I listen to a lot of like Megan Thee Stallion, a little bit of Nicki Minaj. I just want to feel like I'm a bad bee. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel like I'm styling. I want people to feel like I want to feel like people are like, man, that dude is so cool. So a little bit of confidence boost. Thanks Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj for giving me that confidence boost. But I listen to that while I walk around. I listen to music a lot of my day. And so I go to my classes. Then usually I go to the gym, work out, getting back into that. So I'm feeling great, actually. A big thanks to Shelby because she's been giving me a lot of like workouts and stuff to do, and I'm feeling amazing. Feel like I'm back in the business. Like I talked about with Dylan. He's like, I enjoy working out, but it's like I get out of it for a little bit, and then it's like I never go back, and it's kind of like I just forget about it, and it's not fun at all, like to do that. But you just kind of settle into that schedule, and now I'm finally getting out of it, and I feel getting back into the gym. I feel amazing. I do feel like I'm getting stronger, so that's always cool, in case I get into like a cool street fight or something like that, or they go, man, we need someone to cast, like a really cool, not that strong guy. I'll be like, yeah, I'm ready. I've been putting in the work. Obviously not that much cardio because I'm not a huge fan of that, but yeah, I'd be ready if they needed someone to cast like a, I don't know, 19-year-old looking guy. I guess that's not a kid. But yeah, I've been back in the gym, feeling good. Studies are going good. I probably sounded really old saying that. Oh, my studies are going really good. But my studies are going really good. My classes. But anyways, after the gym, I usually head home. Sometimes I might stay at school for a little bit, get a little bit of homework done. While I listen to Megan Thee Stallion, obviously. Duh. It's everyday necessity, guys. Come on. Put it in your rulers. I mean your rule books, not your rulers. And then I go home, chill out, do homework, watch some, YouTube or Netflix. I'm trying to get back into Better Call Saul. Because I watched the first 2 episodes and then was like, yeah, I like this show, and then didn't watch it for 3 months. So I am slowly trying to get back into that. That's another thing too. If you guys got show suggestions, please text me or something and give me show suggestions, because I watched Breaking Bad, loved it. I watch a lot of stuff. I'm a big YouTube guy, but it's like I want to be more of like I'm going to watch this show on Netflix. Or I'm going to watch this show, like any show idea. Please let me know. And if I don't like it, I will come to your house and I will spit on you and tell you that is the worst possible suggestion anyone has ever given me. Don't ever talk to me again, and we are no longer friends. But please do give me your show suggestions. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer to Alex's question of what's it like to be the GOAT. Didn't really answer your question, Alex, but I hope you did like that answer. My next question, I really liked this one. This one came from Micah. She said, do you think you could figure out someone's personality based off their favorite soup? I really like this question because I'm the soup genius. In case you guys haven't caught on yet, it's actually soupology is what I study. So, not to brag, I'm a soupologist, but yeah, I feel like you can kind of tell their personality for some people. If they come on and they bring like some crazy soup, that, that's from like a different country, or a recipe that's from a different country. Which is kind of what don't get me wrong, guys, going off on a side tangent here. Don't get me wrong, I've loved all the soups that my guests have brought on, but if you guys do bring on like homemade recipes, I've had one with the Staleys, but all the other ones have been bought, which is totally cool. I mean, anyway, any kind of, sentimental soup that you have, definitely bring it on. But if you do have homemade soups, that is also very much welcome, because I think that would be super cool. But anyways, yeah, if someone brings on like a recipe for like some very exotic soup from like another country or something like that, yeah, I can kind of assume that they're more of an outgoing person, probably like a high energy, wants to learn more. Just like, I don't know, I feel kind of dumb saying it, but like if they bring a soup that's not from here, then they are probably interested in things that like aren't from here. Like, I'm not going to expect Joe Schmo, who, is totally normal and like eats hot dogs on 4th of July. Not dissing hot dogs. Huge glizzy guy right here. But like, you're not going to have like some random or just like normal American Joe Schmo come in and bring some like crazy like Japanese soup. But you will have someone come in who's like, oh yeah, you're just going to have a very exotic person bring in very exotic soups. I think another thing is like, I don't know, I guess depending on how creative the soup is, like what restaurant it's from, you can kind of tell, because, again, not dissing these kind of soups. I love potato soup. I was telling Alex that last week. Love potato soup. But if someone just brings in like, plain potato soup that doesn't have like any spin on it, you can probably tell like, yeah, that's a pretty plain person. No disrespect though. Plain is what we need sometimes. But yeah, I do think a soup can be very indicative of someone's personality. It's kind of like dogs, Soup is very similar to dogs. Quote me on that. Put that in your next research paper. Anyone who wants it. Soup is like dogs because it's like you can tell the kind of person someone is because of the dog they have. Some little grandma's not going to have a 150-pound Rottweiler, or like, I don't really know dogs that well either. They're not going to have like a 150-pound German Shepherd that's eats people alive. That's not what a grandma's going to have. A grandma's going to have, like my dog, a little poodle that just sits there and, sometimes pees on the floor on accident and then just barks at nothing because he's insane. So big shout out to my dog, Lou. You're an old lady's dog, Lou. But yeah, there are so many things that you compare like the assumingness of soup with, dogs, clothes. There's a lot of things. But yes, another long answer to your question, Micah. You can figure out someone's personality. I don't know if you can figure out someone's personality, but you could probably take a pretty good guess at what their personality is based off their favorite soup. I'm saving my girlfriend's questions for last because I'm kind of, she gave me a lot, which is awesome. Super excited to answer them, so which is why I'm saving them till last. Shelby's question 2. Her first question was, if you could be any animal, what species would you be and why? This is a great question. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a big monkey guy. Love monkeys. I think they're really cool. I like how they are just like us, but they like throw their poop and stuff. And they're just like, oh yeah, this person's just pointing at me and like talking to me. I'm just going to jump at them. You never know what they're going to do. It's kind of cool. It can be scary though, because they are vicious at times. But yeah, I think I'd probably be a monkey. What kind of monkey? Maybe like a red-butted baboon, because that's kind of funny. That's a funny name, because it's got butt in it. But yeah, I don't know, just any kind of monkey. I guess if I wasn't that though, I'd want to be like a. Oh, I don't know. I feel like really monkey's the only one I ever think of. Like, man, it would be so cool to like be a monkey or like have a monkey for a day. Become best buddies with it and like play like football and golf with it. That'd be sick. Can you imagine that? You tell your parents, like, yeah, just playing, football outside with Ronnie. People are like, who's Ronnie? My monkey. Yeah, I don't know. That wasn't that funny. I don't know why I said that. But, yeah, I probably want to be a monkey. No real specific kind. The only reason I said red-butted baboon is because I thought it was funny, but it really actually wasn't that funny, so I apologize. My favorite condiment, I kind of like this question because I'm not a huge condiment guy. Like I said, huge glizzy guy, love hot dogs, but I'm not that big on condiments. Like, I don't put hot dog on my ketchup. Yeah, that's right. I don't put ketchup on my hot dogs that much. I don't really put mustard on it. Well, no, I guess I do use condiments. That's a lie. Sorry, guys. I like mustard. I put mustard on my sandwiches sometimes. Or like when I used to eat lunch more, I did have mustard a lot. But I think that's my go-to. Doesn't mean it's my favorite. That is my go-to, though. My go-to is probably either hot sauce, just like Frank's Red Hot, or buffalo sauce. Like for wings, buffalo sauce is so good. I put that in my ramen noodles last night. I've had ramen noodles 2 days in a row now. Fatty Magoo right here. But yeah, I'd probably say hot sauce is my favorite, but my go-to is mustard. And I like mustard a lot too, though. Like, it's not just like my go-to because I'm like, I got nothing else. I'm gonna get mustard. Mustard is good, but hot sauces or buffalo sauce is definitely my go-to sauce because it's just like it makes life a lot more fun. It makes like, I got fries. That sounds super good right now too. I got French fries. That's super boring. It's not. I was lying. It's not. Fries are really cool. I'm going to add hot sauce to it. Or sriracha. Oh, sriracha's super good too. I haven't had sriracha in, not kidding, probably 2 years. I don't know why. I just have not had sriracha in like 2 years. And I love it. It's super good. But sriracha, hot sauce, buffalo sauce, and mustard are my favorite condiments. But you won't ever catch me putting that on, like, I do put ketchup. Oh, man, geez Louise. Drake and Matthew are the type of guys that say geez Louise. I do put ketchup in like on my burgers. And but I don't like ketchup with my fries. I don't like stuff on my hot dog. I don't like condiments with my fries unless it's buffalo wings or buffalo sauce or like hot sauce. And I don't, I guess that's really about it. That's the only, like, quote, weird things that I don't like condiments with. Yeah, I think that's about it with the condiment question. I'm versatile. I'm not a picky eater at all. I like everything. I really want, that reminds me, this was another thing I was wanting to talk about on a podcast a while ago. The next person, or not the next person, whoever comes on and brings a steak, like a medium rare or medium steak. Yeah, medium. Medium to play it safe. Medium rare if you are like, meh, that's all they got. And then medium well if you really want to make me happy. I'm a medium well kind of guy. Sue me. But if you really want to get a good soup grade, you can bring on a wee bit of soup. Or not even any soup. Just bring on a steak. If you bring on a steak, you're going to get a really good grade because I want a steak so badly. I'm so hungry for a steak. Or if you bring on chicken fingers. If If you bring on Steak and Shake's chicken fingers with hot sauce, Frank's hot sauce, I'm going to reach across this table, give you a kiss on the forehead, and a hug, because that sounds so good. Now, granted, in a week, I could feel like I don't want that at all, but I will take it home and I will eat it soon. So, yeah, service announcement. Whoever wants to bring on a steak or a medium well steak or chicken fingers with fries or just chicken fingers with hot sauce, you will get an exclusive kiss on the forehead. So, listen, kind of wild. You're probably like, oh, a kiss on the forehead, I don't want that. But do you want a good soup grade? Exactly. That's going to sway you a little bit. It's going to sway what you want to do. So, yeah, that's my answer to the condiment question is I'll kiss you on the forehead if you bring me a steak. So we got all the questions from my siblings and Alex, and now we're getting my girlfriend's questions. So very excited for this one. Her first question was, would you rather be the best player on a bad team or the worst player on a good team? And I like that question because I remember vividly answering it in like 8th grade, and I was such a little sheep that I just kind of like, if whatever I said, if no one agreed with it, I was like, yeah, never mind that. No, that answer was stupid. That was dumb. Sorry, guys. But now I have my own voice, so do something about it. Huh? Do something. But I'd probably want to be the best player on the worst team, probably. I don't know. I don't really know, though. I guess probably the worst on the best. Because, like, if I think about, like, granted, he's not the worst on the best. Honestly, he's probably not even the worst in, like, his... Yeah, he's not the worst on the best, but if you think about Brock Purdy, he's the last pick of the draft. So he's obviously not the worst player in the draft, but he is the last pick in this past year's draft. He has a 4-year, $3.7 million contract. So let me look at that breakdown, cuzzo. He's going to make about $934,000 a year. So he's not the worst. Well, not the worst. He is the last pick of the NFL draft. What is the minimum wage in the NFL? Is that what it would be called? Minimum wage in NFL. That's definitely not the right thing. So the minimum salary in 2020 was $610,000, and it has risen to $705,000 this year, as in this past year, 2022. So yeah, I would have to say I'd want to be the worst on the best, worst player on a good team, because you're still gonna get dough, and you don't have to worry about like screwing up in a game or something like that. You know, if you want my answer of that's probably gonna make people like me a lot more. Oh, I want to be the worst on the best so that I can support my teammates over on the bench. No, that's not my real answer. That's a joke. That's tomfoolery coming out of my mouth. I would want to be the worst on the best because I'm still going to get dough. But if we're just talking about purely playing-wise, I would want to be the best on the worst because that would be super cool. To be like Bradley Beal. Shot at the Wizards. Wasn't even meaning to do that today. Taking a shot at the Wizards. A couple years ago, Bradley Beal was like, he still might be, I don't know. I haven't watched that much NBA. He was like the best player on the Wizards, and the Wizards were horrible. But he was like a really good player on a really bad team. So to be in that kind of situation would be kind of cool because it's like you're still putting up insane stats. You could still get to the All-Star game. You could maybe, as long as you don't have the fans voting for you because the fans are stupid. I'm a fan, and I'll admit I'm a little dumb sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I could go with both. I guess if I had to boil it down to it all, I would want to be the worst. No. I take it back. Final answer, best on the worst. I get to play the sport I love. I get to be the best at it on my team, possibly the best at it in the league, and I get to make dough. Because if you're going to be the best on a really bad team like that, you're going to get a really good contract so that you don't leave. So, yeah, my final answer is best on the worst because I'm selfish and I like money. And I'm going to take a bite of my soup real quick, so I'm going to take a break real quick in the questions to try my new soup. And I'm really nervous. It smells a little better. Yeah, it's not that bad, I guess. I mean, it's not like amazing, but it's all right. It just is so like artificial tasting, which kind of sounds stupid because I got it in I got it in a cup, so obviously you're probably thinking it's gonna be artificial tasting, you idiot. And I'm thinking, yeah, I know. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I'm gonna eat it all, of course, but because I'm starving. But I'm not a huge fan. I'd probably give it like a, I don't even know, like 5.3 out of 10. It's just not that good. Kind of gross. Okay, sorry. Next question from Caitlin was, hold on, she texted me. I'm gonna tell her that she's getting on my nerves. I didn't say that. I'm scared of her. Next question was, if you could speak any other language, which one and why? Well, for those who really know me, they would know that I took Spanish in high school for 2 years. Took 2 years of Spanish because it was required. It was required. And it was a cool language. Don't get me wrong. It was definitely entertaining. Sit there and watch other kids who didn't understand it or didn't really try just be horrible at it. So yeah, I mean, Spanish was cool, but I don't think that would probably be my language that I would choose to speak. Just because I've had my experience with it, and it's like the culture that we learned about, super cool down there. I mean, they got like Day of the Dead looks so cool. I think that'll be a lot of fun to celebrate. But that does not mean that I would want to speak it. Like, their culture was super cool to learn about, but it was not a language that I'd want to speak since I already have some experience with it. And so the language I guess I'd want to speak is like, I don't know. Like, if you want like a business answer, Spanish, because then it's like I'd be a lot more diverse. But that's just not what I'd want to speak. I just feel like it just wouldn't be that fun. I guess if I had any choice, I'd want to go with like French or like maybe like German. I think German would kind of be cool to learn. I know I have some friends who've taken like German classes to learn how to speak it, and I think that's really cool. I don't know if I will ever take a class again to do that because I'm not in high school, and so I don't want to have to take a class I'm not required to take. But yeah, German or French would probably be my language of choice because it'd be a cool language to learn. I think French kind of sounds cool. Caitlin speaks French some because she took high school classes about it and is taking one now. It's a very cool sounding language. That sounds like I'm 12. That's a really cool sounding language. That's a very nice language to listen to. How about that? How about them apples? And German is just like, I mean, it's a cool language. It just kind of sounds scary, and I think people would be intimidated by me if I started speaking German one day. Imagine I pull up to someone's house and just start speaking German. They'd be like, buddy is on one. So, yeah, I think that'd be a cool language to learn. It would also be neat because then if I had the opportunity to travel somewhere where they speak those languages, I would probably understand a lot more about what they're saying and I would be able to speak to them and kind of have that like rare experience of being able to travel somewhere and be able to fluently speak that language. And I could learn a lot about their culture, stuff like that. I guess that would be the biggest thing about it that I want to do with like French or German is I'd want to learn more about their culture and stuff, which I could do now. Read a book about it or something like that. But yeah, those would be my languages I'd want to speak. Between the two, I'm not sure I can pick one because the reasons for each one is kind of different. But yeah, French or German would be the language. Caitlin, her next question was, what's something you did as a kid to look cool? And this is really embarrassing, actually, because I have a lot of things I did. We'll go through the years. How's that? We'll go through a little flashback of my childhood. So, in elementary school, like early to mid elementary school, I think the thing I did to look cool, I don't even think I did it to look cool. I think I just did it because I thought it was cool, was like sliding on the floor, which kind of just sounds dumb. It just sounds like I'm like tossing my lifeless body across a basketball court. That's not what I mean. I mean like sliding on my knees like rock stars did, because when I was 7 years old, I still thought I could be a rock star, even though I have zero talent singing and zero talent playing an instrument. Actually, not true. I do have talent singing because I sang a solo once, so get on that, fools. Maybe I'll put that in this, like, in the slideshow of the post that I make for this episode. Maybe I'll put my solo in there, so you guys can go check that out and tell me how good I was at singing and how baggy my shorts were then. But I used to slide on my knees a lot, like I was a rock star in elementary school. And I don't know why. I know why. I thought it was cool, but I don't know why I did it for so long. Like, my mom would tell me to stop because she'd have to keep, like, sewing my pants and, like, closing the knees. Well, not closing the knees, stitching the knees, because I would just, like, I'd be like, yo, guys, check this out. I want to slide across the floor and rip my pants. And people, maybe that's why I did it. People would be like, yeah. But it couldn't have been too many people. It was probably like 3 people that were like, oh, dude, that's cool. And I was like, got a crowd. So that's what I did, like, early to mid elementary school. Late elementary school, probably just absolutely kick missiles in kickball outside. Thought that was sick. It is sick. To this day, kicking, like, absolute rockets, so cool. One of the coolest things someone can do is blast one into, like, midfield. Center field, not midfield. Center field, and then just walk the bases. That's cold. I thought that was really cool, and it is. I still think it's cool to this day. Played kickball last year, or this past summer at my graduation party. Launched a couple of rockets, and I felt sick after I did them, too. Felt like the coolest guy out there. Middle school, I don't really know. I think by middle school I'd become more self-aware because I was, like, chubby and I had, like, so much, like, baby fat on my face, and I was like, I look like such a moron. So I guess in middle school, the thing that I would do because I thought it was cool was, like, I had like Justin Bieber hair. So, like, the side part kind of, and I would, like, swish my hair to the side and stuff, like, flip it to the side. And I did that for a while. I mean, I did that in elementary school too, but I did that more in middle school instead of just getting a haircut. And I think I did it because I thought I looked cool. And I didn't. I just looked like a chubby little middle schooler that, I don't know, had a twitch in his neck or something like that. So, yeah, I did that for a while. See, it's like I didn't do that many, like, past elementary school, I didn't do that many things, like, consistently that I thought were cool. I would just embarrass myself by, like, saying or doing something really stupid. Like, one time in elementary school, or not in elementary school, in middle school, I, like, bought some girl a bag of Skittles just because I had a crush on her. Which is W Riz, if you ask me. I had so much game. Lost it all. but I still have a girlfriend, so gotta do something right. But yeah, I did that. I just embarrassed myself. I didn't really ever do anything that I thought was cool. I would try to do things because other people thought they were cool. Like I said, I was a sheep. Caitlin used to show me Instagram memes. She would show me memes on Instagram, and I would be like, man, these are like actually really funny. So then I'd feel like I needed to try and find funny stuff. So I'd go home and like look at Instagram and stuff and be like, oh my gosh, like I can't show her this. Like I'd think it was funny, but I was like, I cannot show her this because she's gonna think this is stupid and never talk to me again. Which actually, that's a good idea. If Caitlin ever comes on the podcast, we're gonna talk about stories of when we had English class together, because there are a few events that I know we could talk about in that class, because I was just like such a loser. No, that's not the right words. I just thought I had like so much game and I didn't, and I was like, oh yeah, she's definitely gonna think this is cool. And I was kind of dumb actually, so I was kind of right. I would just kind of do stupid things and like find zero issue with doing them, and I wouldn't always be embarrassed of those stupid things. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think in high school I ever ended up doing things that I thought were cool, or that I would think would be cool. I just kind of followed people around and stuff. Maybe working out. But I feel like that's just something people do to be healthy. That's not something people do to be cool. I hope. Well, I guess I am, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just a loser. I'm a hypocrite. So, yeah, that's my answer to that question. Is that I embarrassed myself a lot in elementary school and part of middle school, and continue to do it in high school too, but it was only embarrassing now that I look back at the things in elementary school and middle school. The question after that is, what's an unpopular opinion you have about the NFL? So basically like a hot take. And I'm kind of excited to answer this question because I have one, and it's been talked about more on ESPN in the past week because of the AFC Championship coming up. And I've kind of revised it because I've thought more about it because of Mahomes' untouchable talent, really. I think if Joe ends up winning this Sunday, that's if. I'm not jinxing them. If Joe ends up winning the AFC Championship again this Saturday, making himself 4-0 against Mahomes, making himself have won 2 straight AFC Championships in Kansas City against Patrick Mahomes, I think that's going to make the gap between him and Mahomes a lot less than people think. And I think the gap between him and Mahomes will be less than the gap between him and Josh Allen for the 2-3 spot. So my rankings right now, I got Pat, Joe, Josh. And I think the difference between Pat and Joe, if Joe wins this Sunday, is going to be a lot different, or a lot less than the difference between Joe and Josh. Because it's just like, I don't know, the stats don't lie. I saw something today. Joe averages 340 yards against Pat in the 3 showdowns they've had so far. I think he's turned the ball over once. He's thrown 1 pick, which I'm kind of trying to think back. I don't even remember what game that was. Was it the AFC Championship game last year? I don't know. I mean, but I think he's got like an 8-1 touchdown to interception ratio, which is like, I think Pat's got like a 6-2, 6-3. While Joe averages like 340, I think Pat averages like 270. Obviously, Joe's 4-0. It's just like, I think yards per attempt. I think Mahomes might have him in yards per attempt. I'm not for sure. But, yeah, it's just like, that gap is closing. And I'm not saying Mahomes is like not going to be the best quarterback ever again. It's just like that battle for the top spot is going to be between Joe and Patrick, and I think that's going to happen for a long time. I think people want to try and make the rivalry of the decade Pat and Josh, when in reality I think it's more of Joe and Pat. Sorry, soup break. And I'm not saying that Pat and Josh don't have a rivalry. I mean, that divisional game last year definitely makes a rivalry. And they had, what, 2 straight AFC championship matchups or something like that? Maybe not that, but that's a rivalry. I mean, shoot, you could argue. I mean, Justin and Pat's a rivalry, but that doesn't mean that Justin Herbert is a top 5, or well, he is a top 5 quarterback. Doesn't mean Justin Herbert's the second best quarterback in the league. I don't think people want to give credit to the Bengals ever, but that's not a fair statement for me to make because I'm a Bengals fan. But I don't think people want to finally count that as a rivalry, which some people, I know some Bengals fans are like, it's not a rivalry because the Chiefs have never won. But let's be honest. They've all the games have been decided by 3. The 3 games so far have been decided by 3 points. 2 of them came from last-second field goals by McPherson, and then this last one just came, I think from a defensive stop or something, and then since he just ran the ball out. But it's a lot closer between Pat and Joe than people will admit. I don't think it makes Joe the better quarterback because I really do think Patrick he's always going to end up being that number 1 quarterback. But I do think that they're always going to be jockeying for that top spot. I think Josh is a great quarterback. I think he's got a lot of skill. But he's got not a long time. He's got to learn to take what he's given. There was an interview I watched this year. No, I think it was the Kelsey brothers, the New Heights podcast. Great podcast, by the way. Talking to Pat, and Pat's like, yeah, I've as much as I do just want to take shot after shot down the field, I needed to learn that you need to take what's given to you. And I think that's what Josh has to do. I think maybe they need to find more of a running back talent for Josh to, trust to dump it off to. But something definitely has to change with him, whether it's him, whether it's Diggs, whether it's the team, or the coaching, because I don't know. Bengals dismantled them in that divisional game, and you could see the tempers flaring over on the sideline between him and Diggs. And I can only imagine a lot of other people were upset in that locker room because you lost. You lost in the playoffs in the divisional game, and you were technically upset. But yeah, my hot take is that if Joe wins this Sunday, regardless, actually, but mainly if Joe wins this Sunday, the gap between 1 and 2, Pat and Joe, is going to be a lot closer than the difference between 2 and 3, Joe and Josh. So, but yeah, I like that question. When she gave me it, I was really excited to answer it. I have a lot of hot takes though. I like hot takes. I think they're fun to give and stuff. I mean, I don't want to sit here because I could sit here for probably an hour and just rattle off some of my hot takes, but I'm not going to do that because it's not what this podcast is about. But that is an idea for something that I possibly have in the works. Sports podcast. I don't know. Stay tuned. Me and Colton. That's all I'm saying. Stay tuned. The next question was, what's the best sports team of all time from any sport? That's a good question, too. All of these are good questions. I don't know why I keep saying that's a good question. They're all great questions. The best sports team of all time, it's tough because well, it's not really tough for some people, but for me it is I mean, you could toss it up between all these people. There's always I don't know much about baseball, so if I don't credit a baseball team or something, I apologize. I should probably know more, but I don't, so I apologize for that. But just thinking about basketball and football purely, I think that that 2007 Patriots team was elite. But I mean, obviously they just couldn't close the gap there in the Super Bowl. They lost to the Patriots Slayer himself. But I mean, you look at the offensive numbers they were putting up. I think him and Tom and Randy Moss broke the single season record for touchdowns between quarterback receiver duo. I think Randy also just broke the record for most touchdowns in a season by a wide receiver. I mean, that offense was lethal, And that defense, too, was very good. But that was a great team. I think their biggest knock, though, is that they obviously didn't win the Super Bowl. The 73-9 Warriors hurts my heart because I am a Warriors fan. 73-9 Warriors was one of the best teams ever. Offensive production that they had was elite. Steph wins the unanimous MVP that year, whether people think he should have or not. Clay was emerging as a super, super good second option. Draymond was emerging as a defensive stopper and a guy who could make plays. That bench was pretty good. Iggy was still lethal, which is why I would take Iguodala if the Martians had the death beam pointed at us. I want Iguodala. But yeah, that was such a good team. I think their biggest knock is not only blowing that 3-1 lead in the finals and losing, but I think also going down 3-1 to that OKC team and needing to come back in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, that was a great team, KD and Russ. That is a duo that is hard to discredit. That's impossible to discredit because they were both ridiculously good. But, yeah, going down 3-1 to that team, I think kind of discredits them a little bit too. Everyone wants to point to the championship, and it is. A large part of it is the championship, but, they got no ring to go with it. But going down 3-1 to that OKC team kind of hurt too because they did have good battles, throughout that regular season. I think that one half-court buzzer beater, or that one half-court shot from Steph that we were talking about last week that, Brain's like, they do have a timeout, decide not to use it. Curry way downtown, bang, bang, oh, what a shot from Curry. With like 0.6 of a second remaining. That was a good battle. Obviously, I watched that whole game. They had good battles throughout that season, but that does not mean that the Warriors should have let that series get to 3-1 and needing to win 3 straight to go to the finals. So, yeah, that's another team. They were great, but I don't think that they are the best. I honestly find it hard to discredit both two teams. The Dolphins, I forget, was it 1972, something like that? Went undefeated, won the Super Bowl. I think they had Zonka. They had a good team. Shula was the head coach down there, he's a legendary head coach in just himself, let alone the teams that he coached. But Shula, he was a great head coach. I think that team doesn't get near as much credit as it should. Undefeated season. I don't care what era you put that in. If it happens now, obviously it's going to get a lot more credit because we have social media. But that championship doesn't get enough credit. That team doesn't get enough credit because that's still an undefeated season in the NFL. One of, if not the most physical, game in the United States. So I don't think that gets enough credit. Obviously, I probably should have looked up more stats about them because I don't know the production that they had offensively and defensively. But I say all this to ultimately say I think the 96 Bulls team that went 72-0, I think that's the best sports team, single season sports team ever. They were one of the best for a while anyways. You win 2 straight three-peats. Probably would have won more had Jordan not retired, but yeah, they got to be the best team in a single season because of the fact I know that they were producing on both ends. If you watch The Last Dance, it was like they played their hearts out to win those 72 games. Sorry, it was another soup break. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer to that question. The next question is, would you rather meet... Steph Curry is my favorite player, by the way, so that's why she mentions this player. Would you rather meet Michael Jordan, Kobe, or Steph? See, that's tough because obviously, Kobe Bryant, he's a great dude, a great basketball player too, one of the best ever. But I don't know, I didn't grow up. I'm not going to sit here and try and act like I'm a oh, I've been a Kobe fan my whole life. I didn't get into basketball till I was, till Kobe was probably 2 years away from retirement. I did watch his last game because I was switching back and forth between that and the 73-9 Warriors final season game or final regular season game. But yeah, I'm not gonna sit here like I didn't know Kobe enough. I didn't watch enough Kobe to be such a big fan of him. Obviously, I know what he did on the court, and I know how dominant he was and how he could just attack, any team at any point and hang, 40 on him. He had that stretch in 2005 season or something where he just went dynamite. But as much as I think it would be cool to meet him, he would not be my first pick out of those three. Michael Jordan, I watching Last Dance and just watching him in general and like the highlights he put up and stuff like that. He is such a generational player. He's, he's kind of hanging on to that greatest of all time debate, but I think it's pretty much going to be LeBron soon once he wins the all-time scoring record. But I mean, Michael, it's just like it's tough to not say you wouldn't want to meet Michael because he was such a generational guy and everyone knows Michael Jordan. So he would most definitely be a memorable guy to eat with. But my biggest issue is, I don't think if I'd want to meet and hang out with someone, it would want to be him, because he is not a jerk. He's just not super personable, from what it seems like everyone says. And it would just be like if I were to hang out with someone for a whole day, I'd want it to be someone who is like a personable guy, will sit and like talk to me and stuff, and I don't know. Mike would be a very close second, but yeah, I'd take Steph. Because I've watched him my whole life, or not my whole life. He's my favorite player, watched him a lot growing up. He changed the game so much, which the other two did too, but he changed the game so much, but it's just like he's been the player that all my life, or a lot of my life, all of my basketball enjoyment career, or whatever you want to call it, he's been the dude that I'm like, yeah, he's my favorite. And, yeah, it would just be, I'm like Flight, Curry's just so inspirational, man. Yeah, I'd go with Curry because I think that would be cool to hang out with him too, because he is just a very personable guy and is like chill, stuff like that. Question after that, we got 2 questions left. Question after that is blue raspberry or cherry. What's my go-to? So my go-to is blue raspberry, and if I had the choice between the two, I'd go blue raspberry. It's not even a question in my mind. Well, didn't even doubt it for a second, actually, or a millisecond. So that's how sure I was about it. Blue raspberry is just unmatched, People can be like, oh, but cherry is refreshing. No, it's not. Don't kid yourself. Come on now. Blue raspberry is undoubtedly the best flavor. I like watermelon, too. I know not many people like that, but blue raspberry would take the crown no matter what. It's just so unique, You don't find like blue raspberries in real life. So, yeah, cherries you can like eat a cherry. I can't eat a blue raspberry. It's just better. It's better than everything. Not everything. It's better than all the other flavors. So, at the 53:45 minute mark, going to the last question. It's going to be a good one. What would your last meal be if you were on death row? That's very good. It's a great question, actually. That's tough, Like I said, huge glizzy boy. Big glizzer. Love hot dogs. I like steak, though. I like burgers. I like chicken fingers. I wouldn't want like just a chicken breast to be my last meal, because that just sounds really boring. But I guess if I had to pick my last meal, it would be. Here's what I'm gonna do, because I don't know what the standards were for her question about this. I'm gonna go in a main entree, an appetizer, and dessert. My appetizer would be fried pickles, probably. I just think they're really good. I had them again the other day for like the first time in a while. Super good. My entree would be, I think it's entree. I don't really know what those words actually mean. I think the entree is like the main food. I think for my main food, I would go with a. It's really tough. I'm gonna go with 2 entrees because I'm a big boy. Um, I would go with a steak, a big steak, medium well, and I would have blackened mahi mahi. Everyone's probably like, "Oh, mahi mahi is amazing. Don't knock it till you try is all I gotta say. Especially blackened mahi mahi. Had that on vacation last year. Woo! Hit different. That's all I'm gonna say. It's very good. There's a little bit too much seasoning on there. Made me kind of feel like I was breathing my last bits of air and didn't have any water around me. But it was so good. And they had wasabi sauce on it. Oh, man. What I would do to eat that for the first time again. But yeah, I'd go with that. And then my dessert would probably be, oh, my mom makes this really good cake. It's like chocolate cake, but it's got whipped cream and caramel on it and this Heath toffee stuff. That would be my dessert. I would eat a whole pan of that because it is so good. Now I want a piece. So, she did have one more question. I forgot. I don't know if she's going to want me to answer this on here, which it really doesn't need an answer, but whatever. Caitlin texted me earlier and said her last question, because I said, did she have any more questions? Because she told me when she sent me the original ones the other day, she said, here's all I have right now. So her last question was, how come you hate your girlfriend? And I know people are going to be like, man, you hate your girlfriend? I don't hate my girlfriend. I love my girlfriend. She's awesome, and she's super funny, and she's really cool. So, Caitlin, please stop relaying false narratives, and come on my podcast and we'll squash the beef. We'll fight it out. We'll put up our dukes, have a bit of a disc track battle, and then we'll call it a day, because that's ultimately what friendship is about, which is what she is. Not my girlfriend, just my best friend. So yeah, I don't hate my girlfriend. I actually love my girlfriend very much. And with that, that's all the questions. I hope you guys liked my answers. I hope you weren't just like, God, this guy's stupid. He just sits here and rambles all the time. Because I do. I do sit here and ramble all the time. Which is why I have to have guests on here. Otherwise, I'll just sit here and probably say something really dumb. And then everyone's going to be like, oh, Matt, that was really dumb. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I know. I don't know why I said it. I'm a goofy goober. And I don't know what you guys want me to do about it. So, yeah, that's all the questions I got. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you did enjoy this podcast. I should also mention that I wasn't originally planning on doing this, but I hadn't talked to anyone about being a guest on this week, and I've had a couple people ask me if I ever plan on doing an episode of just myself. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. It seems selfish. And they were like, no, you should. I think it would be cool. People need to get to know you. So I hope you guys did enjoy this. I did enjoy answering these questions. And you're always welcome to, DM me or something and let me know your questions. If you want me to do another one of these episodes, comment on the Instagram post or something and be like, yo, dude, get your stinky little booty back on there and do another one of just you answering people's questions. Because I'd love to do it. I would love to see the questions you guys ask because you're my listeners. You're like my children. And I have to take care of you and feed you little baby bottles and burp you and change your diapers so that you don't make a stink. And then, yeah, you guys are you're a really good crowd. And I really appreciate you guys. I'm like zoning out. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Or not coming on. I really appreciate you guys asking the questions, and I really appreciate you tuning in and listening up, every week. And I hope you guys will let me know what you think about this episode and leave me some questions if you want me to do another one. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your week.